we present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, and your chairman tonight, Barry Cryer.
Hello and welcome to another edition of I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the show that is to radio what Arthur Mullard is to flower arrangement. And with our very own Mr. Dabley at the piano, may I introduce the two opposing teams. Mr. John, all the spoons in the glasses, Cleese. Graeme are my seamed straight garden. And opposite to them, Bill, I can't quite put my finger on it, Oddie. And Tim, I was on the television last night. We ran out of chairs. Brooke-Taylor! Let us plunge headlong into the first round, gentlemen. The first round is our singing musical, not that those are necessarily relevant, singing relay. In this round, one of the players of each team starts off a song, and he and his partner must sing a duet, but each singing alternate words. Any player who falters or messes up our game is declared soppy, and several points go to the other side. I think we'll start picking up the lyrics. Let's start with John and Graeme. The song in question is Roses of Picardy.
We have to do this, don't we?
Roses are shining in Picardy, in the hush of the silver dew. Roses are flowering in Picardy, but there's never a rose like you. And the roses will die with the summertime, and our roads may fall apart. But there's one rose that dies not in Picardy. 'Tis the rose that I keep in my
That was Roses Are Blighting, Blooming, I'm sorry, in Picardy. And we go to Tim and Bill with the song When I'm 64.
When I get older, losing my hair many years from now, will you still be sending me a Valentine birthday greetings bottle of wine? If I'd been out till 2:45, would you lock the door? Will you still need me? Will you still need me when I'm 60?
Tim and Bill, a few mistakes, but a harder song. 2-all.
Yes.
2-all to that. Now, this is where I set up something for later in the programme. Gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to announce some late arrivals at a particular function, and we'll ask you their names later. Will you please specify the late arrivals at the Mechanics Ball? The Mechanics Ball, gentlemen. Later in the programme, we shall return. We move to our first session of tag wrestling in this programme, ladies and gentlemen. Tag meaning a tagline, the end line of a story. I'm going to give each team the tagline of a story or anecdote, and I shall start with one team who must tell a story ending in that tag. When I press my buzzer, the story passes to the other side, who must work towards their finishing line. The winning team is the one who reaches the tagline first. Tim and Bill, would you construct a story that finishes, because we were driving on the right-hand side of the road, we couldn't see that the elephant had deflated. Because we were driving on the right-hand side of the road, we couldn't see that the elephant had deflated. John and Graeme. Mamma mia, shouted Macpherson. Whipped off his gas mask and revealed he was not the ice cream man he claimed to be. So it's Tim and Bill with because we were driving on the right-hand side of the road, we couldn't see the elephant had deflated. John and Graeme, Mamma mia, shouted Macpherson, whipped off his gas mask and revealed he was not the ice cream man he claimed to be. We will start with Graeme Garden.
See who's at the door, dear, said Mother. It's Mr. Macpherson, the ice cream man. I replied.
Tim.
Come in, Mr. Oh, it's not you. It's the AA man with our route map for France. Thank you very much. We can set straight off. And over the channel we went, and there we were, driving on the right-hand side.
John.
In France, we're not encountering any problems whatsoever, it being a country notoriously absent so far as elephants are concerned.
Bill.
And so we continued on down to Africa. French equatorial Africa, where, of course, they all...
Graeme.
Well, by chance, our motor car broke down, but luckily we got a lift home on Mr. McPherson's ice cream van.
Tim.
A notoriously unreliable vehicle. 100 yards we got. Just at that moment, around the corner came a wild elephant.
Nothing came round the corner, John.
Nothing came around the corner. McPherson nipped off, mended the tyre, and returned resolutely on the left-hand side of the road, dodging all the traffic coming straight at him.
Bill.
And drove straight back to England, where he was surprised to find a policeman waiting at the door. He said, I have to charge you with driving on the wrong side of the road.
Graeme.
Take us there for.
Nonsense, said McPherson, denying it. And saying that he was not, in fact, to blame
Tim.
for what he'd done.
He said, McPherson, when we were not drunk, Constable, I swear it was an elephant. I know that we have been later told that, in fact, it was a balloon, like an elephant, that was inflated.
But this
John.
is on account of my selling intoxicating ice cream. Rum-flavoured. With little bits of pistachio nuts and some of that pasta, the special pasta that they get from...
An excuse that may be, and that explains exactly why you were
Right,
drunk.
John.
Exactly why you were drunk. And because we were drunk, we were driving on the right-hand side. And we couldn't...
Graeme.
Good heavens, said McPherson, I think that's my mother.
Tim.
No, said his wife, it's an inflatable elephant. At that moment, Constable...
Admitting that they were practically indistinguishable, the elephant deflated, thus making it practically impossible for it to be
Bill.
deflated again.
The elephant deflated, but unfortunately we couldn't see that the elephant deflated because we were driving on the right-hand side of the road. And therefore we couldn't see that the elephant had deflated.
It was wrong way round, but they got there finally. There, Timmy will return. It was a gat rather than a tag at that moment, but we will return to tag wrestling in a moment, and we in fact move to our next round, which is limericks. Limerick time. I'm going to give each team the first line of a limerick, which they must complete by each team member taking alternate lines. Marks will be given for cleanliness, and 1 mark will be deducted for each solicitor's letter received. Let's start with Tim and Bill. Tim and Bill. There was an old man with a stutter.
There was an old man with a stutter. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes,
With
yes.
a stutter.
Who massaged his larynx with... margarine.
He oiled his false teeth.
And to his relief...
He found he could talk so much butter.
And we go to John and Graeme, who are going to tell us about there was a young fellow from Troon. There was a young fellow from Troon.
There was a young fellow from... Troon?
Yes, yes, I'll allow that, yes.
Who sat down one day on a spoon.
He said, that's so nice.
But I won't do it twice.
And never again is too soon.
Mellifluous.
It's an interesting concept, that
2 points for that. Let's have another one from Tim and Bill. There once was a tractor called Bert. There once was a tractor called Bert.
There once was a tractor called Bert.
Get away. Who pulled a cart over the dirt.
He went over some furrows.
And 12 rabbit burrows.
And said, oh, God, blimey, that hurt.
Magnificent, said he impartially. 3 points. But John and Graeme, a chance to hit back with, there was a young lady so coy. There was a young lady so coy.
There was a young lady so coy.
That she'd never been out with a boy.
So she...
Caution, Graeme. Good evening, officer. We've got some visitors in the studio. Do sit down. Go on, Graeme.
So she hid in a sack.
And lay on her back.
A most unsatisfactory ploy.
Now, the next round is called I Want to Be Brian Ricks, or Word for Word. I'm going to give each team a word, and they must immediately come up with another word which has nothing whatsoever to do with the word I gave them. The other team can challenge and try and establish a connection. I'll start with John Cleese, and I'll give him the word cassock.
Elf.
Botanical.
Spoon.
Runcible.
Interruption by Bill and Tim. 2 fingers and not a single
I'd
thought.
get away with that.
Runcible spoon.
Never heard of it.
Runcible spoon. It's a vague, tenuous connection. I'm going to allow that. I'm going to give a point to Tim and Bill. And let's leap to Tim with the word bollard.
Joke. Catherine wheel.
Pie.
Hassock.
Stoke.
Cathedral.
Bush baby.
Fire engine.
Gnu.
Neanderthal man.
Odd.
Challenge by Graeme.
The connection between GNU and Neanderthal man. And the spelling.
Not allowing that.
No.
That's two points to Tim and Bill for silliness. And now, Graeme, here's another punishment. Your word crypt.
Artichoke.
Polyandry.
Muscle.
Adidocokinetic.
Epoxy resin.
Salt.
Interruption by Bill Oddie.
It may be an old wives' tale, but I was always told that if you do have epoxy resin, salt is a very good remedy.
I'd heard
Here's
that,
an old
Bill.
wives' tale and you get no mark.
No. I'd heard that too, Bill. Bill and I have shared the same old wife for quite some time. Bill, will you follow on the word denture?
Cigar.
Boot.
Wombat.
Microphone.
Knee bone.
Eiffel Tower.
Pomegranate.
Wombat.
Repetition.
Repetition.
That's
but
not
that's
in the
not in the
rules.
rules, actually. Not
Well,
in
we
the
ought to
rules.
put it in.
One
I
for
think
silly
we-
buzzing for Tim and Bill. One for silly buzzing.
Yes.
They say Bamber Gascoigne started like this. I can't see it. Our next round is musical, and many of you do not know that Mr. Brooke-Taylor insured his voice for £10,000 and had a whale of a time with the money. This round involves individual players rather than teams. The first player starts a song, stops singing whenever he feels like it, and a player on the opposing team has to pick it up on the word at which he stopped and start a completely different song, starting with that word. Let's start with Graeme.
Happy days are here again.
Again. Never say never. Again, again.
Oh.
'Cause here I am in love again. It's just a thing I said I'd never do.
Do.
Do a deer, a female. Ray, a little piece of fish.
Dreadful!
Stingray.
Had a sting in the toe.
No. I want to start another song immediately. I feel rather ill. I want to start another song with Bill Oddie, please.
I've got hiccups. I can't.
This is a repeat. Sorry.
When lassie meets a lassie coming through the rye.
Rye hick, actually. Rye to Graeme.
Rye whiskey.
Rye, a piece of golden
Excellent.
me a name I call myself.
Self.
Go on, I'm enjoying it, Graeme.
Self.
Myself.
A racing flower is something you buy. McDougal's is the name.
You've just written that and it'll make a fortune. I'm going to disqualify that. Mr. John Cleese. Mr. John Cleese will now sing a song, stopping, hopefully. At a word.
At a word.
At a word.
The only one I know is my old school song.
Part two.
We enjoyed it very
Happy
much.
days and holidays and sad and melancholy days. They were great days and... That's an easy one.
And
if you tell her, and if you tell them, and I'm certainly going to tell them.
You tell them,
that, that you're the boy whose wife someday. That can't be right. The girl whose husband someday I'll be.
B, Graeme.
Because.
Because, one word, not because.
Because I'm a Londoner, that I love London.
Done.
London,
Done.
I love...
No, done. Done.
John Cleese, please. Another point to Tim and Bill, and let's have Tim. Tim starting the final song of this round. Tim.
Oh, the shrimp boats is a-coming, there's...
You didn't stop.
There's.
He didn't know the next word.
No, he didn't.
There's...
Golden haze on the meadow.
There's a rainbow round my shoulder. That's enough.
Shoulder.
Shoulder.
Over my shoulder.
Goes one leg over my shoulder.
Two lovely black eyes.
What a voice.
Oh!
What a voice!
Surprise! Is that where you left off? Yeah. Surprise! Surprise! Surprise!
You're dickering and dockering, Tim.
I am what? Surprise!
Toot.
Surprise! Open the oyster shell.
Just 4-3 to John and Graeme. Let's leap on to Tag Wrestling Part 2, in which, as before,
Failure.
each team will be given a tagline of a story and make their separate ways towards it. Let's change the order of giving taglines. Swap it round a bit. John and Graeme, your tagline: the rose fell off the duck's hat, and we all went home early. I'm sorry, so we all went home early. I think that's more interesting. The rose fell off the duck's hat, so we all went home early. And Tim and Bill, will you work towards hooray, shouted the girls. And Arthur Negus did a dance. So it's the rose fell off the duck's hat, so we all went home early, for John and Graeme, and Tim and Bill, hooray, shouted the girls, and Arthur Negus did a dance. Tim and Bill, will you start your story, please?
Well, said Arthur Negus, using another voice from the usual. This is an interesting little clock here. I see it has little figures.
John, please.
Clock. It's in the form of a duck. I've never seen one like this in my whole life. And look here, on the top of this clock is a sort of hat.
Bill.
And he handed the duck with the rose on top of its hat to the next contestant, who unfortunately dropped it and smashed it into smithereens.
Not to worry, said Arthur. I'll mend it in a jiffy, and he did. And incidentally, he said...
Tim.
He said, I feel like a bit of duck, net it. And he was then given the next object. And he said, yes, I beg your pardon.
But in his haste to identify the next object, I don't know why I'm talking like this because it's not relevant, he omitted to notice the duck's hat, which was quite indigestible.
Bill.
And lying on the floor, so he kicked it out of the way and picked up an antique banjo. This, he said, I would like to play, but unfortunately I need a little encouragement.
Graeme.
Nobody was prepared to encourage him very much to play the banjo. He said, let's go home. And Arthur said, certainly.
Tim.
And he said to one of the other contestants, what's your name? And he said, Ted Ray. And he said, who? He said, Ray.
At this moment I walked into the studio, holding the usual rose between my teeth, and placed it on the duck's hat, which was lying underneath
Bill.
And Arthur said, if you're Ted Ray, I'll do a little dance. Now, what was your name again? Who? And the girl...
Sadism, I love it.
My name is Irrelevant. Arthur Irrelevant. At that moment, the rose, which was on the duck's hat, the rose...
Rose. And he said, who? I'm sorry to be so inquisitive. Ray! Shouted the girls. And Arthur Negus did a dance.
Excellent. Excellent. 3-0 to Tim and Bill. 3-0, and we move now to blues time. Blues time, gentlemen. I'll give each team a subject on which they must improvise a 4-line blues, singing alternate lines. And there are marks for wit and ethnic feel. For anybody who... Yes. Blues time, and I'll give you the subjects. John and Graeme, will you compose a Lady Godiva blues? A Lady Godiva blues. Thank you, Dave.
Rhymes with Godiva.
Liver, Shriver, Sergeant Shriver.
I woke up this morning. I took a look outside. Oh, yes, I did.
And there was a lady called Godiva.
You don't say.
And she was going for a ride.
No. She was riding side saddle.
And my house was on the wrong side.
Like it. Tim and Bill, will you give us the Napoleon blues? The Napoleon blues. Dave will introduce it slowly.
Well, I woke up this morning, found Napoleon by my side.
Read it out, baby, in second time very fast.
I repeat that if you
It's all
want.
right. Yes, I woke up this morning.
Good for you.
No, I didn't. Napoleon wasn't by my side. I just lied in bed all day.
So I said to myself, what a wonderful world.
Well, at least I tried, which rhymes with light inside.
It had the real authentic messiness. Let's go to John and Graeme. Give them another subject for a blues. Gentlemen, would you like to say a blues on the subject of a rubber dinghy? The rubber dinghy blues. Graeme Garden is wearing a very worried expression.
Well, I woke up yesterday afternoon and found I was in a dinghy. As he stopped, I can't do this stupid thing.
I just lay there, trying to think of
rhymes for rubber dinghy, such as Pingy.
That Pinky wasn't very good.
So if you can think of a rhyme, give me a ringy.
Surging to a triumphant climax, Tim and Bill, the electric toothbrush blues. The electric toothbrush.
That's right, Bill.
Well, I woke up about 3:30 sometime last night, a couple of weeks ago, with an electric toothbrush by my side.
I plugged it in the mains, and I damn near died.
I'm gonna tell you what. All right, you nearly died, 'cause when I put it in my mouth,
I got a toasted tongue and my gums near fried.
Steaming. Oh, a 3-0 win there to Tim and Bill, and it's late arrivals time. Gentlemen, we revert to... Look at pain on Mrs. Cleese's face. We revert to our late arrivals at the Mechanics' Ball, gentlemen, starting with John Cleese, who arrived late at the Mechanics' Ball.
Mr. and Mrs. Drover and their son, Alan Drover.
A Land Rover.
arriving late at the Mechanics' Ball, Mr. and Mrs. Ing Station and their son, Filling Station.
And arriving from Sweden,
Oh, yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Grease and their son, Axel.
Might be there somewhere.
And arriving from Ireland, Mr. and Mrs. Anical Failure and their son, Mick Anical Failure.
Mr. and Mrs. Proprietor and their son, Garage Proprietor.
And arriving from the north of England, Mr. and Mrs. Freeze and their relations, Uncle Freeze and Auntie Freeze.
Oh! They never stop. Tim and Bill, a runaway win on this programme, a runaway win. You're winning at the moment. They're going to go
Well,
on.
let's consolidate and rub their little noses into the
No,
ground.
let's keep very quiet.
It's the last.
Mr. and Mrs. Talbot and their son, Beam Talbot.
So it's good night from me and Dave Lee.
And Mrs. Us. Think about it. Mr. and Mrs. Us Gear and their son who's just entered the church, who is, of course, the Rev Us Gear.
Closely followed by Mr. and Mrs. God and their son, who is so unpopular and unpleasant that his name is Mud God.
If you have any ideas, write to me, David Kossoff, BBC, 5 to 10.
Not to
Corinthians 6 to
mention
9.
Mr. and Mrs. Iculated Lorry and their son, Art
Iculated Lorry. I resign. Good night all from John Cleese, Graeme Garden,
Screen Wiper
Tim Brooke-Taylor and Bill
lost
Oddie.
son, Wind Screen Wiper.
That was Barry Cryer saying goodbye on behalf of Tim Brooke-Taylor, John Cleese, Graeme Garden and Bill Oddie. Dave Lee at the piano and producer John Cassels.